Hi, so I think I'm live here on Facebook. I just had a feeling just to come on to share some things about some things and to explore a little bit about the nature of reality as I see and experience it. Just had an impulse to share, so I thought I'd do it publicly. Why not? Maybe this is interesting for you to listen, receive this, and ask yourself some questions, have a review. It's not going to be very long, I don't think so. So I'd just like to dive in and share what's on my heart, really. So my name's Guy, and I'm the creator of a process I've called the Dancing Heart Path, and I consider this to be a tree of life teaching. Now, what that means to me is it's got roots and branches and all the twigs and all the buds and flowers and fruits and everything else. And a tree of life is a shelter to everything. So tree of life teaching is all inclusive. That's what I'm saying. It allows space for everything that we are in our human experience. And in my view, some of the teachings that are out there in the world are not tree of life teachings, they're branch teachings. There's nothing wrong with this, but just to recognize that it's a branch teaching on confidence, for example, or on making money, on better relationships or communication. And all these are essential and valuable, but then to take a few steps back and back and back and back and see where this branch sits in relationship to the whole tree. Now, in regard to spirituality, and what people call spirituality, is that sometimes it focuses on the upper realms of human experience, if you like, and beyond the human experience in the transcendence. So you can meditate without utilizing your senses, without sexuality, without emotion, without sensation. You can transcend what's usually understood as the human physical experience to go beyond, if you like. And there's many reports and many accounts and many experiences of people who astral travel, dream travel, experience other realities, other dimensions, and I feel these things are true. They're all real and they're interesting explorations. But is that equal to spirituality? This is the question to consider. Is spirituality something other than being human? Is it something which requires transcendence? Because if you observe the way of most religions, there's some kind of repression of the emotional body, guilt around sexuality, or making money. There's the denial of the human creature, if you like, the human animal in the domain of everyday three-dimensional existence. The functioning of us in our instincts, the practical day-to-day stuff of living, somehow negated or called an illusion or maya. And the spiritual search is some kind of avoidance of this, often some kind of escape from this. Now, I don't feel this is true, not in my experience. If it's not a full rainbow teaching or a tree of life teaching, every color is important. Every dimension of us has its purpose and place, its function and fruition, and to be grateful for. So there's no avoidance in the way that I view reality and experience. It's rather deepening into the nature of each realm or dimension or function, and to see it for what it is, and to find its perfect place in our whole totem pole of existence, if you like. So the consideration, which I invite you to look at, and I look at it often, is there anything which is being avoided or denied or repressed or ignored in our experience? Do we have a belief system which is that one day, someday, I'll be better or be more than when I escape this mortal coil, or when I transcend these limitations or obstacles? So is this seeking away from the present moment? Because there's a completely different approach altogether, which is really about zoning in to our present awareness and embracing everything that is moving into the field of our experience. So what I'm proposing is equal value, equal rights to every dimension, without discrimination, without superiority, without trying to make one better than the other, one worse than the other. So for example, our instincts, sexuality, food, power, status, ego, personality, everything that exists in the realm of the human animal and the social animal that we are in the world, to recognize that these are all valuable in their perfect place. It's not all that we are, but in the dimension of these expressions, they have their own truths, they have their own relevance, their own significance. And we can honor our desires for food and sex and power and status, not avoid them, not deny them, not negate them, not wish to be different from them or transcend them. Which often happens. You go into a monastery and you become celibate, you leave your family, you leave worldly things behind in the pursuit of something believed to be greater than this. And I don't see it like this at all. I see that the whole spine, the whole tree is important. And our evolution is to wake up on every single level, to go from the base of the mountain to the top of the mountain, but then to love the whole mountain. That's what I mean by a tree of life teaching. So, for example, the endeavors of the human animal to really take care and enjoy and celebrate all that we are in what it is to be human. And then as we move up into the layers of the heart and the throat and the third eye and beyond the crown, we start to elevate into these other levels of existence, other dimensions, explore these as if they're new territories, new countries, new aspects of us. Not make them better or more significant or more meaningful than anything below them. And it's not higher is better, it's just higher is just literally higher on the spine. It's like the top vertebrae, not the bottom vertebrae, but it's all the spine. And the whole spine holds our back together. And then I feel it's the same thing with the rainbow colors. Every aspect, every color is beautiful and significant, purposeful, valuable. And when we learn to listen to the different desires of each and every level of our being, include them without superiorizing them, then there's an all-inclusive state of existence that we have. And this creates a state of non-resistance. You see, if I can deny my lower centers, they're going to kick up a fuss, they'll kick up the dust. The best way to create a fight in your system is try and kill your ego. It's like, or transcend the ego, get beyond it. It's going to create drama after drama as the ego says, well, hang on, I've got a perfect position here. I've got a role and a function and a gift to offer and a service to offer. Fully aware it's not all that we are, but in its perfect place, it's kind of managing the everyday three-dimensional world. A life without instincts, we wouldn't, the natural fears that protect us, that, move us away from fire and dangerous situations, the instincts that allow us to navigate the everyday experience of living. How essential are these? We wouldn't want to get beyond these. As you move up to the intellect, the beauty of thinking and abstraction is fantastic in its own domain. It's not escapism, but it's just like a perfect state in its own domain, but it's part of the wholeness of our spine. So my way is one of appreciating every single aspect of us, including, embracing, researching, finding its perfect place, its perfect function. And what I notice is when I do this, when I'm in this state of allowing, acceptance, non-resistance, everything just is smooth, is content, is listened to, is honored, is respected. So I'm not negating any aspects of Guy or my spiritual Guy or anything that we might refer to as other dimensional. Everything is included, everything is welcome, everything is allowed, everything is me on a full spectrum of existence. So what I've personally experienced is, many times I've been to the top of the mountain believing that's where I wanted to be, and the desire at the top is just to come back to the base of the valley and enjoy the sound of the river. At the base of the river, you just want to go back to the top again until you start to take a step back and start to recognize the beauty of the whole mountain and all the different, heights and depths and groundedness of it, and how everything is perfect. And, it wouldn't be perfect without all the different aspects of everything that included in the mountain. Or the tree, all the rainbow colors, whichever way you want to visualize it, or put a metaphor around this, or the whole of your spine. So my invitation to you is breathe all the way through the spine, from the base to the crown and beyond the crown, and then all the way from beyond the crown all the way down to the base, to the top of the spine and down to the base. Very simple, just breathe up. Beyond, and down and through and beyond the feet as well. And just recognizing this totality spectrum existence we have and how beautiful this is to be a multi-dimensional creature. And learning to study how everything fits together, every space, every aspect, every dimension is beautiful and purposeful in its perfect place. And then we live in a state of non-resistance, all inclusion. Love is allowed through everything, everywhere, all the time. You're not trying to get beyond yourself or be better than a lower dimension or a higher dimension. You recognize each dimension's own perfection at its own level, in its own way. There's a complete state of non-resistance, all-embracing welcoming. And this is what I call tree of life teaching, and I've manifested this into a journey process I call the Dancing Heart Path, where it's really about a warm embrace on all the different aspects of us. And we use dance as the medium of expression and experience, as a way of connecting to the whole totem, if you like, the whole totem pole of our spine, or the glory of our multidimensional existence. And everything comes to pieces. It's seen and included and welcomed and understood. And then we can draw upon all the different dimensions, all the different intelligences, all the different functions as and when needed or wished or desired in our life experience. So this is what I felt to share with you, and also bring a word to this. I created a word, I call it Ani Major, which is animal, angel, integrated together, all as one. And this integral, holistic, all-inclusive, full spectrum approach is how I live, how I teach, how I share, and how I'm reminding right now. So I'm curious, how do you hear this? Please leave some comments if you want to get engaged in this conversation. And I wanted to share this really to bring a multi-dimensional relaxation to us. Instead of trying to avoid, suppress, deny, go beyond all this kind of business that we get into of self-negation, instead of total, warm, loving self, vibrant inclusion. So that's what I want to share with you today. And yeah, thanks for listening. Lots of love to you all. Bye-bye for now.